There's a
I'm
problem.
just ready to
So,
see.
yeah, he's gonna try to figure it out.
I had a good feeling about it, but when we got that comparison.
Yeah, I think we'll be on that.
I have 5 o'clock, so what I'd like to do is call the meeting of the Edgewood Town Council for March 16th to order. If we'll all rise, please, and pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now let's take a few minutes to reflect upon things that are happening around the world, and more importantly, to think about and to pray for all of our men and women that are in harm's way. Thank you. Ms. Tanner, may we have the roll, please?
When I call your name, please state here or present. Mr. Reed?
Present.
Mr. Briggs? Ms. Barron? Here. Mr. Lee?
Here.
Mr. Farron?
Here.
Mr. Pickett?
Here.
Let the record show all members.
Made him jump.
I guess.
Okay. We did receive a letter of resignation from Shane Briggs. Shane and his family have moved out of the town of Edgewood, and because of that, he is ineligible to serve on the council. Ms. Tanner has reached out to the chairman or chairperson of the Republican Party to indicate that we do have a vacancy, and it will be up to them to select and to appoint his replacement. Okay. All right. Mr. Servies.
Okay, can I open these sitting here or do I need to get up to the podium?
It's good exercise.
By the way, we are not live this evening. We're having problems with YouTube, so we are recording today's session, and then hopefully tomorrow they can resolve the issue, and then we'll upload the video.
Okay, we received 2 bids for a street paving project. One from E&B Paving and one from DC Construction. Both companies have bid in the past here. The first one I have is DC Construction in the amount of $321,955.36. And let's see, the next one is E&B Paving. And that one is in the amount of $313,846. And I would recommend that we take these under advisement.
What was the first one again, please?
$321,955.36. So they're very comparable. And that's all I have for this right now.
Does Mike, do you look at these before we move?
Well, I typically have, Art. I think we might want to have a motion, just take them under advisement.
Yes,
For further
that's
study,
my
with the idea that we would go ahead and then
Correct.
Award the bid at the next meeting.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and properly second that we take the 2 bids under advisement. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me, Steve. Is there a source we can determine which
roads are going to be paved?
Yeah, they're in this list, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I can provide you with a copy of
okay,
that.
I'd just be curious.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Fire report.
All right, well, good evening. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Jordan White. I'm the privileged to serve as a captain at Edgewood Fire Department. During this past month of February, Edgewood Fire Department responded to a total of 43 calls for service. The operational tempo remained steady compared to last month. Training, compliance, and community engagement continue to be departmental priorities. The breakdown for the calls of service include 34 medical calls, which year to date, that makes 112 calls. And then a further breakdown of that, we had 2 MVA or trauma-related calls, 8 medical emergencies, 4 chest pains, 2 abdominal pains, 4 injured in a fall, 7 trouble breathing, 1 unconscious, 1 stroke, 1 OB emergency, 1 altered mental status, 1 diabetic, 1 head injury, and 1 headache. Total fire calls and other related is 9. We had 2 structure fires, 2 brush or grass fires, 1 gas leak, 2 fire or smoke alarms. We gave or provided mutual aid for 2 calls, and that's our total call breakdown. A significant incident of note was a structure fire on February 28th of 2026. Crew from Tanker 99 with 3 on board along with Engine 2 and Engine 84 from South Madison responded to a reported residential structure fire. Incident commander arrived on scene and a scene size-up was completed and the fire was contained to the HVAC unit in the backyard. Member training and readiness, we had a total of 147 hours completed for 25 members. That's an average of 5.9 hours. We are compliant with our emergency response support hours and our fire officer hours. We've also had several training topics that we've covered: active assailant, operational scene safety, pediatric overview, and fire dynamics and behavior. Edgewood Fire Department currently has 2 members in EMT class, which that is, if y'all are not familiar with the current EMT program, that is a very rigorous and long program, so we're very fortunate to have 2 folks going through that now. Edgewood Fire Department is currently holding a structural firefighting initial response strategy and tactics certification course. That's a 40-hour course that begins on April 3rd of this year. It provides a comprehensive framework that prepares incident commanders to manage the first critical moments of a building fire, so that's the initial responding officer. And so that will help with prioritizing life safety, incident stabilization, and property conservation. And then our upcoming events and fundraisers, March 28th, we have the Easter egg hunt. That will be here in the town of Edgewood, so watch our Facebook page for that. If you don't like and follow our page, I highly recommend it. Our folks that handle that through the town does a fantastic job. April 10th, from noon to 4 p.m. is the blood collection drive. Our goal is 13 donors, and it'll be located at 3317 Nickel Avenue. You can register online, and that's also on our Facebook page. August 8th, Edgewood Fire Department will be out at Anderson Speedway conducting a 50-50 raffle. So we look forward to seeing everyone out there, and that's typically a pretty good fundraiser for the fire department. And then August 3rd, Edgewood Fire Department will be hosting our 4th annual Fish and Chicken Fry here at the fire station. The fire department is always looking for help with monetary donations or food or dessert. Feel free to contact us either through our social media pages or Jessa, our public information officer, and we'd be happy to coordinate that and get set up. And with that, that is our fire department report.
Any questions for Mr. White? Hearing none? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I'm gonna deviate, from our printed agenda, this evening, because we have a special guest joining us this evening. Mr. Kyle Pierce is our state representative, and so with that, Mr. Pierce, we'll give you an opportunity to address us.
I'll be real brief, thank you for that, Arthur, I appreciate that. Arthur, Robin,
Yeah.
and Patricia, were you there as well?
No.
Catherine, yeah, we got together at the AIM, they do an annual legislative dinner, it was actually a really interesting dinner, they had the CEO of Cook Medical there, and Monday nights are always kind of hard on my end, and so I had told Arthur and the group that, hey, I hadn't had a chance to make it out to a council meeting, but I kind of work early this afternoon, I want to make it out and be here. I'll make sure everyone has my card. I always just want to be a service to you all if I ever can, in terms of there's issues at the state level. Edgewood is pretty quiet in terms of things at the state, compare that to our brethren in Anderson. There's water issues and utility issues and things like that where they've had to engage a lot in the state level. I've not heard so much at the state from Edgewood, but if there are ever issues, I want to be a resource. Obviously, if you have state contacts with if there's whatever state agency, obviously you can go to them first. But if there's ever a situation where hey you're running into roadblocks or not hearing back, I always say half of my job is the policy stuff that gets the most notoriety, but the other half that I play the old school phone operator where you have a question, there's a concern, let me know and I can kind of run it down for you. And so I appreciate the short term. Real quick, obviously there's things we're talking about at the local government level. There's SEA 1 from 2025. We're still kind of trying to fine tune that. So there's still more predictability for the board, so you know what you're doing going into 28, 29, 30, and 31. But happy to answer any questions, but also I don't want this to be the one-time thing. I want this to be continuous conversation if I ever can be helpful. Might not always be able to make Monday at 5, but always have to grab lunch and whatnot. But if there are any questions, great. If not, I'll sit down and just kind of be listening.
I got a question,
Yeah.
Kyle. I appreciate you coming.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of concern about SB 1
Yeah.
and the impact that it might have on communities. Any thoughts on it?
I think the big thing is kind of answering two factions. One, if there's specific questions like, hey, Edgewood has a question of, hey, what's this going to look like for us in 28, 27, 28, 29. Happy to sit down. We can sit down with Department of Local Government Finance or AIM. If there's like specific questions like that. Generally speaking, I think some of the things that we did this year in 2026 kind of more fine tune, kind of give predictability. I was looking at a report from AIC, which is the Association of Indiana Counties, actually this morning. I think in terms of that kind of global concern, when people were looking at the 2028 financials, I think that has kind of calmed down. That when we did SEA 1 in 2025, when we looked at the 2028 financials, it was a estimate off of an estimate when it came to the appraisals. As we've gotten closer to that, the assessment speculation for 2028 has stabilized, and then we're pushing off the lit for a year for an extra protection. So I think this concern of this 2028 fall off, I don't think that's going to be there. I think a lot of people were concerned about when they saw the 2028 numbers and look at the fiscal note for SCA 1, it looked bombastic, but the fiscal notes were never set up to look that far in advance. I think now that we look there today, there's not going to hopefully be this massive drop off. There will probably, you probably will see transfer over from local income tax. But the big concern that we were hearing at the state level was we have older residents, their income's going down, but yet the property tax wasn't being addressed off of that. Where now, if your income's going down, we're not going to have that tax burden on you as much. So it's one of those we're constantly going to go through it, and that's one of those things. As we get closer to that, I want to hear, hey, if you have a financial advisor or your attorney that say we have a concern, let's talk about tweaking things. For example, I was able to get in an exemption for the South Madison fire this last session. They're the only fire territory in the state that's actually able to go above 0.4 for the tax rate. So if there's some specific things we can do for Edgewood, I can't guarantee it, but we can definitely talk through, okay, hey, if there's some red line issue, let's meet, let's get together, let's get you guys with the ways and means chairman, things like that, and let's kind of walk through and talk through it. So, yeah. But if you have more specific stuff, happy to kind of walk through it. But.
Appreciate it.
Have we talked to him about the pool? Have we talked to him?
No, we have not.
The Edgewood pool?
Okay, yes, you have heard about it.
Oh, yeah, I'm very familiar with it, yes.
He's familiar with it, and in our brief discussion,
Yeah.
we will have more discussions in the future, I think is what we discussed.
And I don't wanna put anything, have you guys discussed it all, and I'm gonna leave, I'm gonna be mindful of your time. Have you discussed it all with like, any of the nonprofits at the state level, or like any of the?
Not yet.
Okay. Again, I can't promise anything, but there is like a tourism boards and things like that where we can discuss. We're probably looking more at, hopefully like maybe low-term, loans. I can't guarantee it, but we can just talk and, you know.
Have grants, but.
Yeah, ideal world, we're doing grants and private donations and,
Yeah.
and things like that,
Ideally, yeah.
but yeah, I'm happy to talk about it, but.
Do you golf?
What?
Do you golf?
I can play in a scramble.
Okay, we've got one coming up in June
I'll
for the
do
pool.
I'll do it.
Okay.
Well, I will sit down with.
Well, let's see, before you sit down, any of our residents, anybody in the audience have any questions for Mr. Pierce?
I'll push it in a little bit. When
Okay.
I actually get up to talk.
Well, I'll stick.
Dan,
Yes, House Bill,
introduce yourself.
1048.
Yeah, 1048. I'm gonna look it up to make sure.
Dale.
Well, it's okay.
Dale, introduce yourself. Introduce yourself.
I'm Dale Vandenbrom with the fire department. You increase the gas and clothing allowance to each volunteer firefighter on our department. It's a good standing. And, which is great. You raise it from 150 to 250. So how come you didn't give us any money to pay for that?
So one, in terms of, so I need to look at it, I'm looking at it right now as we speak. So one, in terms of why didn't we give more money, so it wasn't a budget year, so we couldn't go into the budget, generally speaking. So this year, so without going into the bill itself, I'm gonna go skim through it, okay. The unit served by shall pay drug. I see what you're saying, yeah, so in terms of, why don't we give me more money for it, a lot of that's because in terms of, if it's not a budget year, we don't allocate more money. But if you have a specific question about it, I'm happy to discuss there in
I
terms
did
of.
just ask you, you went from 100 to 250
Yeah.
per person. How am I supposed to pay that with the limited budget that I have?
We'll have to follow up afterwards, and I'll have to walk through it, so.
Okay, sounds good.
And not to belabor that, but that does become what we look at as an unfunded mandate.
Okay.
And it does create a burden for small communities such as ours.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to walk through, this is. I hear you, and we can talk about that too, I mean, if you wanna, you know, in terms of, we ought to try to offset or something like that, but yeah, I hear you. Hey, can I ask how many folks right now does that impact for you on your team?
Nora, we're budgeted for 25,
Yeah.
and we're close to that every year, that active. So you take 25 times 150 for each one, that's what? Over 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 13,000, something like that.
Let's sit down and talk, so that was, the author of it was a firefighter, and so if we need to talk about trying to address that, we can address that. Where do we make it optional or things like that. That was Randy Novak, he's a firefighter up in I think Lake or Porter County, that authored that bill, and so we can talk about, we need to work to address it, so.
But I think it's a great thing you did.
Yeah.
Just didn't.
Yeah, well, let's sit down and talk, I mean, because, that's one of those bills that, out of all the hundreds we passed, I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't, you know, I haven't looked at that one in a couple months. But we can talk through with Cody over at the Anderson Fire, he's the head of he's the vice president at the firefighters union. And we can kind of talk through, is there part of their ask for next year to have more funding for that? If it's not, we can talk about, do we maybe have a conversation about allowing guys to have more variability of saying, hey, we can't do that, we can't afford it.
I'll be glad to talk with you.
Yep, so, all I was gonna say was, feel free to get my card out, after this, if there are questions or things like that, where it's like, hey, we need to tweak it next session, happy to do it.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank
thank you,
you.
Mr. Pierce. Police Department, Randy?
Good evening. For the month of February, we had 82 calls for service and 22 traffic stops. And out of those 22 traffic stops, we had 2 speeding tickets, 2 speeding citations. You can tell Officer Ray's no longer with us. We have marches start off, we do have officers pulling over more people and issuing more, so that number should grow. We are also, the chief has started a fitness test for the department, and we're also increasing our handgun and what was the other one?
Defensive tactics.
Defensive tactics standards, so we're doing more training with that throughout the year. Coming up on April 25th, Saturday, April 25th is Drug Take Back Day from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We'll be here at the back door at the police department. Any unused medication, we don't take syringes, we don't take anything under pressure, any containers, asthma, we don't take any of those because they just chuck it all into a big furnace, and if you put those canisters under pressure, boom, and that would be bad. The last thing I have to talk about is this table. I don't know if anybody saw it on your way in. This was made free of charge to the town, to the department, to us, by the Department of Corrections. Jess and I went out and picked it up today and brought it in. Not much to say about it. It looks nice. It's a really sturdy table. It's a heavy table. I can speak to that one. But it looks really nice, and the inmates worked on it, and like I said, it didn't cost us anything. They have a separate fund that they were able to make that from.
It's beautiful.
So,
Is that something you guys asked for, or?
yeah, Jessa, how did you find out about that?
So their Facebook page, every once in a while you would see a different department getting stuff.
Okay,
So I ordered one for the police department, fire department at the same time. The fire department one's a little delayed right now. We should hopefully get it within the next year. We don't know yet though. That was all funded by, the sale of picnic tables for DNR.
that's nice.
So she just happened to see it on Facebook and reached out and said, hey, we want one. So they made one for us.
Yeah.
So it'll be around. It'll either be here or in one of our back meeting rooms that we have.
Is that at no cost?
Yes, no cost.
Wow.
They've been doing that for a lot of departments. APD has a really nice podium that they made for their training room.
Yeah, I guess they make them for a lot of departments around the state. It was new to me. Jess educated me on it, so. Yep, we got it.
Any questions for Mr. Ackerman? None? Thank you. Mr. Ferguson, water report.
Well, there's a lot tonight, but the first thing I'll tell you is it's good to be here, because the last time I missed the last meeting, had gallbladder surgery last time. Got a lot of questions, answers, how am I doing, I appreciate all those. One of the things about that is the absolute next day I actually came into work after surgery. As the water superintendent, with the licenses that I carry, you still have to make visits to the water plant every day. So I still fulfilled all of that, even feeling bad. So I came to work the rest of the week. I did not work full days, but I was here for at least a couple of hours. Definitely want to, Carl's gonna hate me for this, but I've been thanking him the whole time, because being under a weight restriction, I can't help him. All I can do is just watch him, and that's an awful thing to not be able to help. So, but I definitely appreciate that, guy. Real quick on some things that we need to do, we always are talking about the lead service line project. We have to do that identification. I've just stopped receiving any emails from any residents. Nobody's taking pictures of their home or anything like we've asked. That's all has stopped. I haven't received anything in February, and I've not received any more in March,
Should've
so
gotten mine in February.
I did receive yours, but I thought I got it in,
Okay,
January.
okay.
But either way, those have all slowed down and pretty much stopped, so the residents aren't doing that, so it's gonna be more difficult to make sure that we try to identify all of those. And that will bring me to my question for the state representative is,
Before you do that, are you concerned because it slowed down and stopped?
I kind of expected it. I mean,
Could we send a text out or something if?
we sent paperwork. I mean, we delivered stuff everywhere, it's on the website.
Not yet, but we
Well-
talked about it the other day, and we're gonna
Yeah.
put it on the website
Put it
again,
on Facebook.
and advertise it on Facebook, and we'll do that continually throughout this whole process, because this is gonna be a few-year process, it's not gonna be a
It
few-month
is.
process.
It is, it's not a very fast one, I mean, I wish it was, but
Yeah.
it is not.
Yeah, but we have to keep it in front of the residents.
Well,
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
trying.
Yep.
I'll keep mentioning it.
Well, here's our social media guy right here.
Oh, we talk quite a bit.
Okay, all right, okay.
We talk about it. So my question for the state representative is, under this, initiative that the federal government actually started and the state government doing through IDEM and stuff like that, I know like the town of, or the city of Anderson has received more than $18 million for that particular project. Edgewood is allowed $0 for that. They are telling us we don't get any funding because we are less than 1,000 services, so they think that we should do this on our own. I would love for you to give me more clarification on why the smaller cities are supposed to just fund it themselves.
I would say let's, instead of doing that, let's try to get, why aren't they helping funding less than 1,000?
Well, I have asked, I actually have an engineer that's calling almost on a monthly basis, and they just say, Kurt, leave me alone, you know, it's not
Yeah.
doing it yet. But I go to a conference tomorrow, so hopefully IDEM's gonna speak on this, so I'll be looking forward to see what kind of stuff they have to say.
Yeah, I would say let's sit down and, is this, was this a mandate out of 24 or is it more?
Yeah.
So let's sit down and, now caveat, the feds might have said the 1,000 less, but if it's the state, I mean, hey, worst thing we can do is say, hey, we should have it for less than 1,000 and make them tell us no.
Well,
In terms of that, we have to do it we have to pass a bill to do that, but let's go work at it.
I'm not sure who exactly is running it, I just know that they are telling my engineer, you don't get any money. So, and he has tried several different avenues to get that. He's actually gone through some of his other clients that did not use all of their money, which they gave it back, and he's like, well, that was already allocated for these, just give me that and I'll start divvying up between some other clients, and they said no.
Yeah, and I don't wanna take over the meeting by any means, but I'm not saying that there probably is some, there probably was some kind of threshold number, I'm not doubting that, but what I'm saying is maybe let's work on lowering that threshold number. Especially if, and this is kind of outside of my normal purview, so once, like, they're returning money, at that point, are they done?
I would imagine so, I mean,
So maybe let's talk about money that's been reverted, potentially saying, hey, money that's been reverted could create a fund for, you know.
well, yeah, I know for a fact he was told no, he was not allowed, they were not going to get, you know what I mean? I don't know where it's going, I don't know if they're, who's sitting on it, what they're gonna use it for. Like I said, hopefully on Wednesday when they speak, I am gonna find out more information, so.
I think the
But it just seems very unfair that small towns are not getting the same consideration as larger ones are.
The one thing I'll say when you talk about it afterwards as well, if they have a Q&A, if you ask the question,
I was looking for
is this a federal guidance on this 1,000, or is it a state guidance? If it's a state guidance, we can talk about when we come in next legislative session, and that and say, hey, we're gonna address this. So we can,
I couldn't find it.
I'll make sure I ask that particular question, thank you. Few other things, here last week and today, we've been removing trees out of the roads. We've talked about there's so many mature trees in the town of Edgewood. I think residents really should look at some of those and have those trimmed. I understand those are more costs out of those residential homes. Maybe they got the money, maybe they don't, but we sure have a lot of them down, and we're out there pushing them out of the road. Another thing is, and I don't know what we're gonna do, but the stop sign over here at Cherry and Park Road, it just keeps getting run over. We've had a couple of them get run over this year. One at, Winding Way and 32, that one got ran over. So we put a standard out, which is basically a concrete block that you make out of an old car rim. Well, somebody decided to steal that. So they stole that, and then down the road at, I'll call it Turtle Park, they stole a speed limit sign, so we had to replace that one. That was $81. So we put that one up. So I don't know what they're gonna do with an old dead stop sign and why they took a 20-mile-an-hour speed limit sign. I don't know. I would've wanted one that was a lot faster than that, I guess. I don't know. 55, whatever. But yeah, they decided they wanted that, so we've done that. We started putting up street signs and taking out old poles. Somebody posted that on Facebook as well, which I appreciate that. But when the weather cooperates, we will go back out and we will get back on that as well when we get time. One of the most newest things is the water model for the new water tower has come in. Now, this is a draft. This is not a final product. Anybody that would like to look at that, I have one, it's long, and it repeats so much information in it, it's almost redundant. But anyway, we had 4 sites here in South Edgewood that we looked at to bring up the water pressure and things of that nature, and it does identify a lot of issues that we do have with the system, and that would be one of the things is fire protection. So toward the southern part of all the way down on Village, they do have water pressure out there, but when it comes to pumping, some of that is a lot lower than what it really needs to be. So we have identified 4 areas to put the water tower, and the 2 places that they said would be the best places for us, we don't own that property. We would have to secure one of those 2 properties and then go through a design and build and do all that. Now, their proposed, like I said, this is just a draft. They've got some information in here that I've read that I've got to have them correct. They're saying that any of the 4 areas, if we were to put it there, the cost is all going to be the same. It will be, they're projecting it at $3.88 million to put a 250,000 gallon water tank in. And that is, by the hydraulic model, will boost all of South Edgewood and get us into compliance with fire regulatory PSI for all of our hydrants, and would actually bump up the water pressure for all the residents on the south end as well. Now, the 2 sites that they cited would be the best. The first one is at the end of Redwood over here, just off the Winding Way. They're talking about if we could procure some land, 2 acres is what they're asking for over in the farmland. They're saying that would be that's number 1. Number 2 would be off of Oakwood, if we could get the lot behind the church there, which is in Anderson, and we don't own any of that anyway. They're saying that would be number 2. Number 3 was putting it in Windsor Park, on the Windsor Park area. The problem with that is the fact that there are no 6-inch mains to be able to connect to. which I've come up with an idea for that. We would just have to put in some, we would have to actually run booster lines. We already own that particular property, so we'd have to run some 6-inch lines out. Most of our water lines in south, we have 6-inch runs down, South Winding and Edgewood. So those are our two biggest lines. Everything else springs off of that, and it's either gonna be 4 or 2-inch. The fourth area, I forget where the fourth one was.
Railroad.
Oh, yes, back on the other side of the village where we would have to actually bore a line underneath somebody's residence to get it back into this way, so I'm not a big fan of that one.
Does that be on the east lot?
Yeah. As it was put to me by Rob, he said aesthetically that would probably look best be down there, but it would be harder to have it put there. Plus in dealing with many years of having to deal with water lines and things like that around a railroad station, no, we don't have to cross it but just be near it, they can get extremely picky and they can be very difficult. So,
Even though that line is not highly used?
yeah. They'll come, they're just like anybody, they're gonna come up with an excuse for anything to do any of that.
What do you see the drawback for Windsor Park?
I don't see a drawback for Windsor Park if we run the booster lines. So coming out of Windsor Park, so you are at Windsor and Orchard. So my idea is if we were to run, you can do it one of two ways. You can either replace the 4-inch line that's there, or you can just run a booster line, run it down from Windsor Park, run it all the way down to Edgewood and tie it into that 6-inch. You can run a booster line, a 6-inch, all the way down Orchard to where it ties into the 4-inch at Westfield. And then also, you can go from, on the same 6-inch line, on the same 6-inch line, if you go on Dogwood and go straight over to Winding Way South, you can tie into that 6, and then you've got 3 points that tower will breathe. The water will fluctuate, go up and down, and then it can disperse in 3 different areas or 3 different lines to help boost the pressure all the way through south.
But the two primary properties that they're locations that they're talking about are outside the town limits.
Yeah, because those two properties actually have the ability to hook up to the 6-inch line very, very quickly.
All right, well, there's 2 issues that I see. The first is, anybody who remembers when we were going to build our own water treatment plant and that sort of stuff, and it was outside the town, we caught a lot of flack from other residents. I mean, that really just put the kibosh on it. You remember that?
Very well.
That's one. And 2, if we were to purchase 2 acres from a farmer, would we still need to annex that?
No, I don't believe so. What we could do, and I learned this lesson from former Superintendent Tom was here, and he done this many, many times over in Anderson. Once, and he would build well houses. He would find land, he would buy it. He was able to get anywhere from 3 to 5 acres off of the farmer, but then all of a sudden you just let them farm all the way up to that property. Even though, and you never charge them anything. So that was a good lesson that I remember hearing what he done and everything, and for some reason, I was able to remember that. But you could, so they talk about a 200 by 200 square is where the water tower would sit on, which is, that's not a great big property, but it's definitely less than 2 acres, which is what they're asking for. So that farmer would probably be able to farm at least a full acre of that. We might own 2 acres, but he would probably, or she would be able to farm at least a full acre of that with no charge to the town, because we're gonna buy that. I mean, we're not gonna develop that
Right.
2 acres. I mean, we just wanna be able to get into it, be able to check the water tower, be the accessible to, do whatever kind of maintenance that we might have to do to it, and then just back right out.
So what obligations do we have with the city of Anderson?
I don't know that we would have any of that. Now, the only thing that they have out around us is they have water rights. That's all that they have. They have encompassed us. Now, we can actually go to the UIRC, what's the name of the UIRC? Utility Regulatory Commission, and we could petition with that, and then they could let that go. But we're not feeding any residents, we're just using that for storage. That is not, we are not claiming any more services. That's just our property, and we decided to put a water storage tank on it. That's not feeding any more residents in their area. You see what I'm saying? We're not taking any business from them. I mean, we can always check on it, but we would be taking there's no money out of their pocket in any way that I can see.
Do that electronically.
I do, but the problem is, he did not send me this report in an email. He gave me a link, and then I have to go through and I gotta put in a password and everything, because he said it was too big.
Okay.
So, Rob has read through it, I gave a copy to Catherine, I'm not real sure if she read through it or not, but like I said, there's a lot of information in it that's just absolutely redundant. It says 3 or 4 times and there's the same information. Believe it or not, you actually read through it actually quite quickly.
Patty, you could probably get a thumb drive and download it off his computer, and that way you'd have
Oh,
a
yeah.
copy of it. I never thought
Yeah,
of that.
and
Yeah, if you
it's
wanna do that.
important for both you and Patty to review it, because one, your water sewer, and two, if we're talking about the parks.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
So, for this hydraulic model, it came to us very late. And I won't go into the details of that, but anyway, what we are going to do is we're going to, slow walk this and make sure that this, professional engineers report is what they're calling it, the PER, is, finalized after April 1st. Before, had they really not forgotten about us, which I've already had my discussion with that engineering company, we would have looked to try to get SRF funding to try to get this program off the ground. Had I got this back in maybe December or even early January, we could have decided whether we really wanna look at a site, really dive into it to see how quickly we might wanna move on to this. Some of the other things that is noted in this report is the fact that we do not have the extra overhead storage or underground storage of our normal capacity of one day. We have 60,000 gallon water tower, and that's it. And right now, I mean, it's our low time. We are using around 150,000 gallons a day. If we put up a 250,000 gallon tank, that gives us 310 overhead storage, which even on the biggest day that we've ever done was 288,000. That's a day that we were actually flushing hydrants. 310 would get us no problem. We would meet those requirements by the 10 state standards as they quote in the report. So the fire protection, the water pressure for the residents, and the overhead storage in case of power outages, which over the last year, we've had a lot of those too. So,
Last week.
yeah, so, like I said, I've only gotten one copy there. We'll try to get a thumb drive and get those all to you. Like I said, I have written down some information on it that is wrong, and so that they need to adjust those things, and they would have had all that information had they contacted us, so.
Okay.
Other than that, I think I'm done. You have any questions for me?
Any questions for Mr. Ferguson?
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on to member reports. Mr. Reed.
Oh, that was.
Ms. Farren?
I do have something. Of course, Don took care of most of it. As far as the Edgewood dining facility. We are having a St. Patrick's Day tomorrow, as is the world. And you're all welcome to come out. We're celebrating all day from 11 to 8. It'll be fun. We're having an Easter buffet, which Arthur signed up for just tonight. That'll be on Easter Day from 11 to 3. And we are having the fundraiser for our pool, the big one, June 26th. Lunch and registration at noon and golfing at 1. We're hoping to get 21 teams and have a good time and raise some money for our pool. And then we're also planning an adult prom, which it's a fun idea, on June 27th. And that will be a fun thing. We'll get a lot of publicity out there about it. And if you haven't noticed, there is on Scatterfield and 10th, we have a big digital billboard going to make sure people know that we're out here. So we were told we needed more advertising. We're doing it, but we're doing it through the Chamber of Commerce, which is a lot less expensive than just going to a billboard company. So that's all I have.
Tell us a little more about the adult prom.
The adult prom. We're gonna have dancing and food, and it's gonna be like a prom.
Black tie affair?
It's gonna be dress up, yes,
Okay.
yes. You coming to that?
I don't dance.
We don't have to. You can get up there and sing.
Oh, Lord, I'd rather you dance. Rather you
It
dance.
should be fun. We just wanna get something going that's fun for the community and help raise
Is that
more
part of
money.
the fundraiser?
Yep, another fundraiser. We have the DJ secured already and he's free of charge, so
Did you,
keep on.
Did you mention the awning replacement?
No, I did not. That's exciting. I should have mentioned that. Our awning, I don't know if many of you have noticed it, over the patio is like shredded. Last year it was hit by one of the big storms and got a big hole in it. And I filed with our insurance company, which it's taken a bit, but they have agreed to pay for replacement of it, and we're going to put a metal roof on it so that we won't have the ripping, shredding, tearing. If you go look now, we have, I think, 3 big sunlights. What do you call them?
Tarps?
No, the openings and the skylights.
Skylights, yeah.
Um,
Oh, I see.
Yeah, they're
Unintentional.
just, it's just
Unintentional.
amazing, but we don't really like a skylight, we'd like to have it covered, so, we just got that word, and hopefully in the next week or so, if the weather cooperates, they'll be able to tear the rest of the, awning down and get busy on our metal roof.
Is that it?
Mhm.
Okay. Mr. Farren?
Yes, I do have a report regarding structures that the town owns located at 420 Layton Road. There are 3 structures there. There is a house that was built in 1904. There's a concrete block building that I'm just guessing was used for golf course maintenance or storage of carts or something of that nature, currently full of junk. And then there's a small concrete structure at the back of the property that, I don't know, tool shed or something of that nature. So, Mr. Austin, Mr. Pickett, and myself met with Schroyer Demolition about 3 weeks ago to tour the properties and for him to prepare an estimate for demolishing all 3 structures, which would include removing the foundations, hauling everything away, grading the property, seeding it, and putting straw down so that when he's finished, you'll never know there was anything there. The cost for his estimate was $14,800. We had previously received an estimate from Rescue Demolition for $29,800 for the same removal. So I think that it's obviously a tremendous eyesore. We had a resident who lives across the street on Layton Road, not in the town of Edgewood, who was present at last meeting, expressing her concerns that this has been a topic of discussion for several years. And I think most of us, if not all of us, agree that we'd like to move forward with this project with Schroyer, who, by the way, does all of the City of Anderson's demolition. So we have an idea of the quality of their work. So now the question becomes, you know, where, do we have the funds available to move forward with the project? And one other thing I should add, surprisingly, even though it adjoins the golf course, it is not Town of Edgewood property. It's City of Anderson. And Mr. Austin, as I recall, you discussed the possibility of the city perhaps utilizing funds available since it was on city property, but there were not.
Correct, I was greeted with a complete lack of enthusiasm.
Not a priority, obviously. So, I think, you know, not only is it an eyesore, I think you could argue that it's a hazard. The long rectangular building that's filled with every kind of junk you can think of is easily accessible. Windows are gone, doors gone. The house itself is secured and locked. And surprisingly, windows and everything are still intact. But it's something I think really needs to be done in best interest of the town and certainly the residents in the immediate area who have to look at that every day.
Well, we've certainly met the requirement for getting multiple estimates because we did receive 2. I did ask Ms. Tanner if she would be prepared tonight to let us know whether or not we could find the funds to move forward.
We would have the funds in the casino fund, but just don't assign any more projects for casino funds until we build that back up.
Well,
But
I
we
think-
do have it in the fund.
okay, I think moving forward with the demolition is critical for us because we cannot hold our residents accountable for having their property maintained. And we own property and it's not being maintained, so we've got to set the example. So,
Ask a question. What would happen with that land then once it's demoed? Are there any ideas since it's City of Anderson but yet being looked at?
It is the City of Anderson, but it is owned by the Town of Edgewood.
Okay.
And it's part of the golf course property. It's right next to the barn where we keep all the equipment. So it would probably just become more of the golf course. We'd
So
be
the
able to
town of
open that
Edgewood
up.
would maintain the property then?
The golf course would maintain the property. Yep.
And I think it's worth noting that that's an additional enhancement to the golf course and for people playing, especially if we're looking for new membership, they're not gonna have to drive by that mess that's there now, so.
Dale?
There is a building clear at the rear of the property is that part of the, take it to?
Yes, that small white cinder block building.
No, it's on back.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the very back of
Golf course.
There's 3 properties on there and they're gonna take all 3.
3 buildings.
Or 3 buildings, I'm
This is
sorry.
down, this building's down,
They'll take whatever's there out.
because we,
You're saying it's the one you guys took down before?
yeah, the fire department cut it down and cut it in pieces, and it was a garage, and that's where we practiced.
We'll have to get with them because we didn't see it out there. We didn't know. It must have been covered up with the weeds and stuff.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
We'll drag it out there.
Okay. Do you have a motion to want to move forward?
Yes, I would. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the estimate provided by Schroyer Demolition in the amount of $14,800 to allow us to demolish all of the structures on that particular parcel.
Second.
Okay.
Oh, you go, you go.
All right, it's been moved and properly second that we move forward with the demolition of the property at 420 Layton Road. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. All right, okay. Motion passed. So, Mr. Farren, will, as building commissioner, we'll leave that up to you to
I will.
resolve this issue.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Ms. Farren, you had some other concerns about,
Yes. You know, there's a big burn pile on the opposite end, on the south side of the golf course.
Yes.
That's pretty out of
I've often
control.
wondered about what
Yeah,
the.
and fire regulations say that we're supposed to burn in a contained area, and that's open, and it's really not very pretty.
No.
So I
Chuck's
don't
always
know,
called me,
I'm sorry?
Chuck would always call me and say, I'm gonna burn this. In the past, he has,
Well,
and it's quite a bad pile. And then we would be aware that it's burning, and, and you're ready to go if anything happened.
I just, it doesn't
So,
look,
from what you're saying,
aesthetic.
it's not aesthetic, and from what you're saying is Chuck's called you in the past when we're gonna burn, so I guess we just need to coordinate, and
Yeah.
if we have to knock that down, that pile down a little bit and burn part of it, and
Well, if it's that much of an eyesore, then,
it has to be contained.
and if it's not contained the way our ordinance reads, then I would say we should probably have a water truck sitting out there while it's burning.
I agree, and I think we also might consider moving the location of debris, because it's
Yeah, it's right
it's
there.
right in the, in between number 9 and 10 fairways. It's terrible eyesore. I never could understand why that spot was selected, so I think a more isolated area, maybe over by the maintenance part or somewhere behind a structure where it's not an eyesore.
maybe in the backyard of that house over there.
Well, maybe.
We own the
Still have
property.
it.
I know.
Stick it inside the house and then.
Oh, he's got a pile over there too.
Art,
Yep.
I spoke to Chuck just last week about this, and he's got plans to to do the burn. He's just waiting for the weather
Okay.
the wind to cut down and all that, and where it's at, honestly, is as wide open as you can get.
Yeah, it's true.
The other places on the golf course that are isolated are too close to residences.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I didn't burn this week because of the,
but our ordinance definitely calls for us having a water source.
Yeah,
And so
yeah, I
I
agree
would
with
say
water.
Contained.
we should probably have a fire truck standing by.
I
All I
agree.
have to do is call.
okay.
All right. Okay. Can you talk to him and then ask him to make sure he
I
reaches
will.
out?
I
Okay,
will.
thank you. All right. Anything else, Mr. Mayor?
No.
Okay. Mr. Pickens?
I've just got one thing. I spoke to Dawn a little bit the other day when we had the big winds and trees falling, and we were cutting limbs up out in the street and dragging them out because it was in front of my house. And they had trash cans over at the park on Winding Way that blew over and dumped their contents throughout the basketball goal area, the basketball court, and the tennis courts. Well, the problem is that predominantly the contents would be waste from animals when people are walking. They take their little bag and tie it up and throw in there. And I went, oh, to tell you the truth, we need a couple of waste stations where people have the opportunity to throw that waste and get that done, and then we can dump those out, and that way it's not in the trash cans, it doesn't blow away, it's on a pole that's in the ground. And then talking with Don today, it actually would provide part of our community service. Would you like to speak on that?
Yeah, I'll do that.
I know, I was
Remind me,
getting-
I forgot about that
I know.
earlier. One of the things, with my job also is, stormwater. So we always have to deal with stormwater and all the issues that come along with that. One of the things with our meeting that we had today is we have to do, public outreach. So one of the things we have to have 3, documents on file, and I'm gonna get those to Rob, and he's gonna have those on the website. So any resident can click on that and find that out. Also, we have to do outreach programs. Well, if we put these little stations in, then we can either put like our website on the side of it, or we can have a QR code on it, and then they can go straight to the stormwater section, and they can look up all the different things. Stormwater can get very, very picky as well. As a matter of fact, it doesn't make any sense to me, but two of the things that they want is they want to make sure that nobody's washing their car in their driveway. They say that's almost illegal. They don't want soap going down into just the storm drain. Another thing is at the annual meeting last year, I don't know if you remember them talking about, but they wanted residents to pick up their dog in their own personal yards. And I thought that was a little ridiculous, cause what are we doing with the natural animals, the wild animals, who's picking up after them? But these are the types of things that we, Patty goes to and Catherine and I go to listen to, and we gotta have so many hours of this, so this is some of the other stuff that we gotta do. So if we get those put in, which, as long as the residents use them, I'll be happy to install them, because like I said up here, when it rains, oh, there's a nice slurry in the bottom of those.
Well, that's, those,
Trash
those,
cans,
yeah,
so-
those, the ones that we put will be the metal containers that are breathable.
Yeah.
And we'll have a bag in there, and they'll just be, pull the bag and dump. And I know I'll appreciate when I'm walking the dog and I don't have to carry it around all the way home.
Oh, they don't, they'll find a trash can to put it in, trust me, they ain't taking it.
So are you talking about strategically placing them in all the parks?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I did, do a quick perusal. We're looking at $200 to $300 a pole for those, so.
Which we should have that in the parks budget. That shouldn't be, that shouldn't affect us much.
All right, are you gonna do some more research and bring us back a proposal?
Yeah, I'll do that, and I'll bring back a proposal on the total cost and a number, and then we're good to go.
Didn't it have in our, kinda, I don't know what you call them, the rules for Edgewood, that you're not even supposed to have dogs in the park?
You're not.
Where we'd put them, we wouldn't put them in the park themselves, we would put them on the, right next to the street. So as the people are walking down, like if you're walking down Winding Way, and you can just dump it right there. And it wouldn't be in, like on Winding Way, we definitely wouldn't put them right next to the basketball court or right next to the shelter house, or even at Redwood Park, we wouldn't put it right next to where all the kids will play. We wanna put it a little bit out, but we have to put it on community property somewhere, unless anybody wants to volunteer their house. Me neither.
As far as dogs being in the park, you know, when it, in the summertime, when people are really out, you actually see very, very few people with their dog out in the park. These are mainly dog walkers.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
That's all.
Anything? Okay. Mr. Alston?
Pretty quiet on the legal front. I did talk to Todd Fisher, the city building commissioner, about the possibility of providing funds for the demolition of Layton. And basically I was told that you know, they would consider demolition, but they would charge the town for anything they would do. So at one time, there were blight elimination funds.
Yeah.
And that was a federal program. And I think there were substantial dollars allocated to the city for blight elimination projects, but those funds are no longer available.
Okay.
So there's no opportunity like that, so hence, you know, proceeding with their own funds for that demolition. But that's an excellent price, and that contractor comes highly recommended. So I think that's a good way to proceed.
Okay.
So good work to everybody in that. And nothing further, thank you.
Okay. All right. Mrs. Servies, you're back up.
I don't have anything additional tonight.
Okay. All right. Ms. Tanner, clerk's report?
The only thing I have is that most of you know, my deputy clerk treasurer and my accounting clerk are gonna retire at the end of April. And Mr. Pickett was kind enough to help, along with some town employees. We did post the jobs on our website, social media, and we also put it on Indeed. And we did have several applicants, and Mr. Pickett and myself interviewed these various people, and we were able to narrow it down to 2 people, and we both agreed, and we offered them the positions. And we're gonna be doing a background check, and I don't wanna give the names out until there's not a problem with the background check. But they plan to start around April 6th to do training. And they both seem qualified to be able to pick up on the job tasks. and I think they'll be good employees for the town.
Okay.
That's,
The background check gonna be done through Chad?
yes.
Okay.
Does anyone have any questions? Okay.
Mr. Daniels, did you ever get your application turned in?
No, I still have it over here in the office.
Okay.
Do I just submit it to Chad?
No, give it to Ms. Tanner.
Okay.
All right. Okay, old business. Anybody have any old business? Okay, I have two. Julie Armington Memorial, we had talked about doing something in honor of her memory. Where are we at with that?
Actually, I had spoken to her daughter and her son. And they want to plant a tree, and they've talked to Chuck about it, so that they don't want a lot of showy stuff or a plaque, because she was not like that.
Yeah,
So they're going to have a tree planted sometime this spring.
okay. In one of the parks?
Well, no, on the golf course.
Oh, yeah, that's
On
right,
the
that's
golf
true, because
course.
that was her,
Yeah.
that was her love. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. All right. No, because we already talked about Layton Road. Okay. Any other old business?
Do we want to talk about the time, meeting time?
That's under new business.
It's new business, never mind. I knew we'd addressed it before.
Any other old business? Okay, new business. All right. In our executive session, a couple of weeks ago, the members of the council, we talked about the possibility of moving our meeting time from 5 to 6 o'clock. And we think that by moving the time from 5 to 6 o'clock, it would obviously would give more of our residents an opportunity to get home from work, get situated, and attend our sessions. And it would also help us as well. So, unless there's some objection, probably starting in April, we will move our meeting time to 6 o'clock. Same day of the month, but instead of 5, it will be 6 o'clock. Now, I know that probably will run afoul of the fire department, because you guys, you have your meeting at 6, yeah. And to be honest with you, when we talked about that, I didn't even think about the fact that you guys met at 6 on Mondays. So, my apologies. Okay. Any members, any residents see any objections to that? Do you see? What are you smiling for, Brian?
You know.
Okay, all right, so with no objection, then April will start our meetings at 6 o'clock. And then okay?
Sounds good.
All right, any other new business? All right, okay, we'll move on to comments and questions. If you have any comments and questions, I would ask that you would keep them to 2 to 3 minutes. And depending on the question that you might pose tonight, it's a possibility that you might not get an answer, because we may not be in a position to be able to give you an answer, but you certainly will get one within a reasonable time frame. So with that, I will open the floor up for any of our guests who have any questions or comments. Hearing none? Okay. All right, then we'll move on. Approval of the minutes of the February council meeting?
Move that the minutes be approved as presented.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And the,
Register.
register of claims.
So moved.
Okay, it's moved, there's a second. Sure.
Second.
Okay, moving second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. Mr. Pierce, thank you. We appreciate, you're obviously a man of your word, because when we met, you know, you said that you would be here tonight, and so we certainly appreciate that. And hopefully with us moving our meetings to 6 o'clock, that will allow you.
I was sitting here with Ryan, again, that sounds great to me,
Okay.
and I'll try to, come maybe once a quarter.
Okay,
or when-
well, our meetings are always open to you, you're always welcome,
Yeah, yeah.
okay? All right, hearing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Go for it.
I would like to move that we adjourn.
Second.
Those, all right,